You're gonna be just fine.
So it all started when I was just browsing the internet for facts and statistics about ABA, and eventually I stumbled across this page. What is the Autism Creature, aka To Be Honest Creature or Yippee, and why is it controversial? Now, knowing that this comes from an ABA place, I knew this was going to be quite entertaining. This article overall comes across as either deceitful or just plain ignorant. Technically, they have the right facts, at least in some areas, but they have the most ridiculous interpretation of them. The TBH in TBH Creature stands for To Be Honest. TBH gives the character a feeling of being genuine and earnest. He isn't trying to be funny or friendly, he merely exists. Now, to be fair, I guess some people thought of it that way or felt that way, specifically the person writing this, because this is a very weird lateral connection, and you're gonna see they're going to use a lot of creative methods to disguise the meme as something that's not. Why are some offended by the Autism Creature? Yes, please tell me about the Karen behind this. Some individuals with autism find the To Be Honest Creature creepy and offensive. They feel that the Autism Creature endorses negative stereotypes about people with autism. They think the character encourages the idea that people with autism are soulless, emotionless voids.
Wie cool ist das bitte? Jetzt zock ich Fortnite und trink Cola. Yippee!
Yeah, real emotionless, soulless robot there. It's almost like these people think that the face is the only way to have emotion. Now, I think this is already pretty telling of what's going on here, but I didn't want to seem ignorant, so I tried to do a little more research here. To be fair, I did find these posts, but first of all, these came after the article, and moreover, autistic people dislike it for very different reasons, so it seems like they're kinda just making stuff up here. They also feel like they don't want to be associated with things, creatures, or beasts. What the heck is this even about? Literally everyone wants to associate themselves with things, creatures, and beasts. Autistic people are no exception. Additionally, some are offended by the character's association with the Among Us game,
which they feel implies that those with autism are task-oriented or out to ruin your life. They think TBH encourages the idea that those with autism need to be identified or removed because they are considered imposter people.
If you couldn't tell here, they're basically projecting. They're the ones that try to rationalize ABA by saying that autistic people are inhuman and have no emotions. And don't give me that nonsense that it was just Ivar Lovaas or just a outdated thing. They're the ones that still treat autistic children like dogs, or at least like they're training a dog or putting a dog in obedience training. Also, I think it might have been a little hyperbolic to say that they were freaking out about it, but they clearly don't like it, evident by the misinformation they're presenting. So why is that? It's hard to tell which is part of their actual worldview and which is just part of their deception, but I think I can infer their motivation to be this. They're basically trying to do what Behind the Meme did, except on purpose. Water down the meme to the point where it doesn't really have any real message or content. Notice how the aesthetic of autism awareness is much worse than that of autistic pride, and this extends to the art, but I'm mainly talking about how they describe their ideology. The Autism Awareness movement will berate autistic people to the point of dehumanization, but they never talk about how great it is to be neurotypical, or how great it is to be a capitalist, or for that matter, a psychopath. For a while, people turned to this narrative because, let's be honest, this is the only narrative regarding autistic people at the time. And then along came autistic people who had their own ideas. Autistic people have better art, better inventions, better ideas on how to run a society, and we have a lot more than just pattern-seeking skills. We're not even anti-neurotypical, anti-allistic, but even if we were all those things, autism awareness still cannot emulate our pride. For example, ABA is so expensive that it burdens a neurotypical as much as it does an autistic, and in general burdens neurotypical society. And if people saw what was actually going on, it would jeopardize the idea that capitalism breeds innovation. Autistic culture and the culture of autism awareness cannot coexist, because if autistic people are left alone for too long, then autism awareness will be shown to have nothing to offer, and slowly decay out of existence. And this manifests in the memes. Now, the TBH creature isn't the most offensive meme. In fact, it's probably one of the least offensive memes out there. But memes are basically the language of the internet, and the message of this meme as it relates to autistic people is that it's great to be autistic, and by implication, it's also against autism awareness. And this is the same reason why this article conveniently leaves that out, instead saying that the meme belongs to quote-unquote everyone, which would be like saying that the Israeli flag or Palestinian flag belongs to everyone. Because if it did, you wouldn't be thinking about anything political right now. By presenting the meme into a potentially pro-autism awareness symbol, they're ruining the meme itself. The message and meaning is no longer there. The reason why they don't want autistic people to be associated with things, creatures, or beasts is that they want to infantilize autistic people to the point where anything more offensive and cultured than a puzzle piece and some weird clip art is too much for autistic people. Quite ironically, implying that is extremely offensive and is doing real-world harm to autistic people. They basically want to steal the TBH meme so it can carry on the meta symbolism, which basically says, go back to the kiddie pool. So it's already bad enough that this is one of the first things that show up when you search TBH creature or autism creature. But this is part of a bigger movement to appropriate autistic culture into another tool for autism awareness. Now, the two ideologies may seem like polar opposites, and people should remember that they are, because they really are trying to subvert and neuter the movement. For example, Autism Speaks came out with this statement. Now, these words are so gross that I don't want to sully my own tongue saying them, but to paraphrase, they're basically saying that you autistic people don't want friends, family, or children, or a job that pays well. That's all just white culture oppressing you by making you have friendships. First and foremost, this is pretty Orwellian. It's autistic people that want family and friendship. It's autistic people that want a basic level of income. And it's autistic people that want autistic children. And the people who get in the way tend to be rich Republicans. And moreover, this is quite dehumanizing, because it implies that autistic people don't deserve to have friends or family, basic human needs and desires. I think we all know who's really trying to redefine autistic flourishing. Basically, they're trying to use autistic aesthetic to promote an anti-autistic message and destroy autistic culture. This is why I propose that we should make our memes actually offensive. Not against ourselves, of course, but against autism awareness. The goal here is to remind everyone, this is our culture, this is their culture. This is what we do, this is what they do. This is what we strive for, this is what they strive for. And our control over our own memes is here to stay.